Central Intelligence is directed by Rawson Marshall Thuber, and it stars probably the biggest star on earth, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it stars probably the biggest comedian that there is nowadays, Kevin Hart, and is basically a buddy cop movie where The Rock is the CGI. The Rock is a CIA agent, and Kevin Hart, he knew Kevin Hart back in high school, and Kevin Hart was like the cool guy, you know, he was all popular, he was like in all the sports, and he was like the class leader and all this stuff. And then back in the day, Dwayne Johnson was, you know, the big fat kid, the nerdy kid that everybody made fun of. And so it's kind of a cool reversal kind of thing we got going on here. And then, but this is, you know, 20 years later, Dwayne Johnson obviously is The Rock now. He's all big and muscular and in the CIA. And Kevin Hart is maybe not exactly at the point of his life that he thought he might be, coming off of high school when he was all popular. Now he's just like an accountant, you know? So his life's kind of gone down like this, and The Rock's gone up like this, you know what I'm saying? So The Rock, it's their 20th high school reunion, so The Rock's in town, and then he seeks out Kevin Hart, and then they get put upon this crazy journey that The Rock is, I don't want to give away too much, but things are going down in the CIA, and he needs Kevin Hart's help to figure out this case. And here's what I'll say right off the bat with this movie is that it's really pretty funny. And a lot of the jokes in here really land, and Kevin Hart and The Rock's, I don't know what to call him, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I'm just going to call him The Rock. Their chemistry is really good, and I really enjoyed their banter off of each other. You could tell that there was a lot of improv in this thing, and it was cool to see them have this dynamic, because Kevin Hart's been in so many different movies with so many different people, and, you know, it gets a little bit old with him and Ice Cube and, like, the ride-along movies. I thought he was pretty funny with Will Ferrell and Get Hard, but Kim and The Rock have such great chemistry together, and they work off each other so well, and I think it's really because Kevin Hart's playing more of a straight man, and usually he's way over the top and crazy, but in this he's more down-to-earth, and The Rock's being crazy, and that is the coolest thing to see about this movie is The Rock just acting so much different than you've ever seen him. He's completely just eccentric and crazy and really weird, and like he's a weird guy. Because you know, the movie starts off, and honestly, I was a little bit like, man, this seems a little bit uneven, because right off the bat you realize that this is a really unrealistic movie with unrealistic characters. And you're like, okay, you know, the beginning's a little bit rocky, and then The Rock comes in, and he just nails it. Like, you are glued to The Rock every time he's on the screen, and he's by far the best part about this movie. And that's crazy, because Kevin Hart is, like, usually the best part. He's, like, so funny. But in this, Kevin Hart is definitely funny in this, but The Rock really shines. He plays this crazy role, and he is hilarious in all of his scenes, and he just does such weird stuff, because he never changed from being that fat, weird kid, you know? So now he's just a big, weird kid, you know? So that was hilarious to see him doing that stuff. Kevin Hart had some funny lines in there. Again, the plot is them basically just figuring out, there's this whole convoluted, like, plot thing where the Rock might be, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The plot is, like, forgettable. It's confusing. It doesn't really matter in the end, but it drives the movie. The whole point of the movie is them just going to, you know, working together, and The Rock being this crazy agent and making Kevin Hart do all these things, and it's so funny to just see them interact with each other. And honestly, here's the thing with this movie is that it was funny, and I enjoyed watching it so much, but about halfway through the movie, I'm like, man, this is like not a very good movie, but I am in it so much, you know? Like, for some reason, their chemistry and their, like, back and forth, and just them in general, made me want to keep watching this movie. Like, I halfway through the movie, I'm like, man, this is not a very good movie, and like, a lot of these jokes don't land, but it's just their chemistry that works so well that I'm like, I kind of enjoyed watching this crappy movie. It's like, I can't say that this is a good movie, even though I ended up kind of liking it, you know? I feel like this is not a good movie, but it's a very enjoyable movie, because it's dumb and ridiculous, and some of the writing's bad and not all the jokes land, and there's a lot of lapse of intelligence in this thing. Like, a lot of things just don't make sense, and the movie's not asking you to take it seriously. It's just taking you along for this ride, and it's just saying, who cares? Go along with the jokes. Who cares? And for me, that takes me aback a little bit, but just watching these guys bounce off one another was really funny, and it kind of made the movie it really enjoyable, even though I know it's not a good movie. I like, if there was anybody else in this movie, I'd be like, oh God, this movie sucked, and I would hate it. But it was just them bouncing off of each other that really made this movie enjoyable for me, because they brought all the laughs. Oh, and also, not just them, but there was a lot of cool cameos in there that I'm not going to spoil any of them. But if you go see it, you're going to be really surprised by how many different people pop up. And that was a big surprise for me, and it was real awesome to see many, many different people that I didn't expect to be there in this movie. They were all funny every time they popped up. And yeah, that's all I really have to say about this movie. If you're looking forward to it, I say go see it, because even though it's not a good movie, I can still say that it was like, I enjoyed watching it, and I thought there was a lot of funny stuff. There was definitely a lot of stuff that wasn't funny and just didn't land, and a lot of stupid things that happened in it. But it's a fun time, and I enjoyed watching it. I can't in good conscience say that it's a good movie, and I can't give it like a good rating, but I like the movie. I'm going to go 2.5 out of 5 for Central Intelligence. It's just one of these movies that I know is dumb, but I ended up enjoying. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this and you want to see more reviews from a guy like me, Tom Waterloo, then please like and share this video, leave a comment down below, and most importantly, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.